Basic Investing Primer. Now this is the bare bones. We hope to go into a few more videos talking about specific investments, dividends, long-term growth, compounding, but it all starts with the beginning lesson here, number one for our YouTube channel. And please, if you like our video, hit that like button and subscribe for future content. We're gonna start with the basics, and what I found after 20 years in the industry is there's no substitute for time and compounding. So as we go into our examples, we're going to start with the base example of $10,000 invested at 5% over a 15-year period. Now, it's not bad, the numbers we see. The dark blue on your chart is the money you put in. The light blue and the green is the earnings it makes. So what this is saying to me is in 15 years, your savings are going to grow to about $22,800. Not bad. 15 years, the money more than doubled. It's not a bad spot to be. You see the green there is the compounding earnings. Basically what that means is the money you made is earning more money. So it'll be powerful the longer we go. Next example, we're going to say the same 5% rate of return, and we're using middle of the road here. 5%, how do I do it? It's pretty doable. Middle of the road, nothing too risky, but we're going to stretch it out to 25 years, and you'll see is it's going to grow to over $38,000. Now, that's about 50% more, or more than 50% on our previous example, and what we're seeing is the green bar chart is starting to grow on the back half of this chart. Why? Instead of 15 years, we've added 10 more years. So whatever money we had saved in the first 15 is earning that much more. 5% on that original $10,000 investment's almost quadrupled in 25 years. Not bad. I'd say that's pretty good. But now what we're going to do is accelerate a little bit. What's the difference of going from 5% to 8%? Doesn't seem like a huge jump. Can you do it? Yeah. If you do your research on the S&P 500 equities and dividends, we'll see that 8% is not unreasonable. It's a little bit harder to achieve, but as you can see on the chart, what we've done over 25 years, the prior example was $38,000. We're up to $75,000. That's more than double our 5% example. Now, why is that? As what the green bar chart is going to show you is it's the compounding. Because we've had a lot of time to grow the money and stay disciplined, the power of compound growth, it's back-end loaded, but that's what they mean by the long-term financial plan and saving now and investing more, having more to spend later. That's a good way to think about it. So 8% over 25 years has gone up almost eightfold. That's pretty good. If you want a bigger example, add a zero, 100,000 would be growing to about $750,000. So very good spot to be. So huge number, a little bit surprised to see it, but it makes sense. Dare I say, if we tried to really accelerate our earnings, take a little bit more risk, get a little bit lucky, what would happen at 10%? This is just to see. We're not going to use our examples on 10%, but that 10,000 over 25 years is over $118,000, more than tenfold, more than 11-fold on the original investment. So that is harder to do, but it just shows if you have a few good years early, if you find a few of those Apple and Google stocks and Tesla, Microsoft, things could be looking really good. But wait, that's great if I had $10,000, but scenario two, what if I don't? I don't have $10,000 lying around, neither do most people. So what we want to look at in this case is, well, how do I get there? It's actually not as bad as we think. This is where we introduce our 10% rule. Early on when I was working, I was paycheck to paycheck. But then I realized I need to make room for my savings first, pay myself first. So this is where we say try 10% of your paycheck into your investment, long-term investment account where you just put it away, don't look at it for a while. What does that look like? Well, if I get paid $2,000 on my paycheck every 2 weeks, I'm putting in $200. I still have $1,800 to go blow. So what that tells me is, okay, I put in a little bit. Doesn't seem like a lot, but maybe it could amount to something. We'll see. Is it too simple? I don't know. Let's take a look. Back to our good old examples. $200 every paycheck. You're probably looking at about $400 a month. That's about $5,000 a year. So, other example was $10,000 to start with. Well, this would take us 2 years to get there. And if we're substituting in 8% growth, the same number we used earlier for 25 years, I don't expect it to be 700,000 like the first time around, but, well, guess what? That number is pretty good. We're up to $394,000. Yeah, 25 years is a long ways away, but you know what? I can handle $200 a paycheck because I can still get my groceries, pay my rent, pay my heat, fuel up my car, or take the bus, and probably have a little bit left by the next time I get paid. And if I get a tax refund, all the better. That might cover my Christmas gifts, but I think it's totally doable. I don't have to start with a lot. But now, what if I'm making a lot more now? Maybe I've had a few raises along the way. Next example I want to look at is maybe it's a few years later and I can double my savings to about $500 a paycheck. Same rate of return, so I think I should do double. Now, what the chart's going to come in at looks like, I was expecting $800,000, but we're at $986,000, almost $1 million over 25 years. $500 a paycheck. Okay, that might be about $12,000 in a year, maybe a little more, $13,000 in a year, but I think I could do that because if this is 5 years into the future where I'm advanced in my career, putting my education to use, I think I can actually save that much because the goal is as you get your raises, you can boost your savings. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I didn't expect it to be $1 million. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. That one's a little bit of a shocker. So yeah, I'll be jumping circles for sure. Now let's go to the other scenario. What if I stopped at year 7? Maybe I got married or had kids, or maybe there was a global pandemic and I got laid off for a while. So there goes my dreams of being a millionaire. But you know what? At year 7, in that example, I would still have over $120,000. So there's a lot of things I can do with that money. Save it for a rainy day. Yeah, if the pandemic hit and I needed to worry about where to get my paycheck, I could dip into my savings. It was for retirement, but it's a good emergency fund too. I can use it as a down payment. Yeah, real estate's always great. I've been renting for a while. Maybe this is where I say, okay, I'm going to restart my saving strategy, but I'll use the money I saved for a down payment on a nice condo or a house in the suburbs. That could work. The point is I have options. I could do nothing. It won't grow to $1 million, but it'll still be about halfway there if I stopped after year 7, which is only about a quarter of the way through that 25-year time horizon. So that actually looks pretty good. Maybe I'll work one less day a week. I don't mind the 4-day work week. We're all usually not paying enough attention to our mental health, and I think I'd love to have a 4-day week and relax on 3 of the days. So like I said, I have options, but I've empowered myself by making a few basic decisions and probably starting as early as I could. So the point of this presentation is that it's very powerful if we start early. The younger, the better. The example of a 25-year-old investing for 30 years, that takes them to age 55. I think that's where a lot of people would love to have financial freedom at age 55. Rings a bell, Freedom 55. Let's use that example. $500 a month, which is a little over $200 and some odd dollars a paycheck, 8%. we've increased it to 30 years instead of 25, but still reasonable. That grows to $744,000. That's pretty good by the time I'm 55. I would love that. And on top of that, my paycheck hopefully covers all my living expenses. But what if I waited till I was 35 and 10 years, I'm still young, but I've delayed my savings for 10 years. Well, instead of $500 a month, which was $6,000 a year, now I have to put in about $1,250 a month to reach that $730,000. I can do it. I don't really want to put that much of my paycheck in, but I guess that was the cost of having fun for the first 10 years of my working career. So I have to put in about $15,000. That's 2.5 times what I would have saved had I done it 10 years earlier. So if I really procrastinate, wait till I have an executive level job, I've got 10 years till Freedom 55, I'm going to have to invest $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month, that's almost $50,000 a year. And it would get me into that low $700,000 range in savings, and I don't think that's even possible. I'd have to be earning $150,000 to $200,000 a year to have that kind of disposable income. We haven't even talked about taxes yet, but I think it's a lot easier to start with less when I'm younger because I have more time for that compound growth. So that's the lesson I want everyone to take away. It's never too late to start, but there's a huge bonus by starting earlier because then I don't have to invest as much later on in life, as things definitely do come up. And I want to have options as well. Life is short. I don't want to wait till I'm retired to enjoy all these things because I'm a little bit less mobile then. But I think this way we'll have a happy medium. Thanks very much, and make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.